Hi, my name is Sydney Martin, and today I'm going to motivate you to plant a garden. Audrey Hepburn once said, "To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow." And while we all might have different ideas of what a garden actually is, we can all agree that there are an endless amount of combinations when it comes down to it. Through my gardening adventures and my research, I feel that I can adequately motivate you to also plant a garden. In recent years, there's been a large push to only eat organic and responsibly harvested produce. But did you know that you can do that from your own home? Forget about driving an hour and a half to your local Whole Foods to pay $2.99 for a pound of organic tomatoes on the vine. Why would you do that when you could simply go to your local Lowe's home improvement store and pay $3.78 for a tomato plant that could give you pounds of tomatoes? Plus, you have the added assurance of how these tomatoes were grown and harvested. It already sounds better, doesn't it? Today, I would like to talk to you about the different types of gardens there are, all the benefits of planting a garden, and most importantly, why I believe that everyone should plant a garden of some shape or size. When we hear the word garden, most of us might think of vast and rolling hills of, row after row of plants. But let's face it, many people, including myself, do not have that kind of space. In fact, if we are being really honest, my yard is almost 100% shade. So what can you do? If we looked around the world today, it's easy to see that now, more than ever, we should all be staying at home and distancing ourselves from each other. And while we can't just go out and into stores, we have been encouraged to get back more involved into nature. According to the United States National Library of Medicine, being interactive with nature can have many positive effects, such including but not limited to reduced anxiety, improving academic performance, reduced stress, and a larger food supply. According to feedingamerica.org, more than 37 million people in the United States are struggling with hunger. In Mississippi alone, that translates to 1 in 5 Mississippians that are struggling to provide food for their families. You may be asking, well, what does that have to do with planting a garden? Well, for many people, gardening is not only a way to produce food at a lower cost for themselves, but also a way to help their community by donating their excess food. I believe that if everyone who planted a garden donated their excess food, we could radically reduce the number of people struggling with hunger, or even eliminate hunger totally. According to Feeding America, the average cost of a meal in Mississippi is $2.93. That is less than the organic tomatoes that we talked about in the beginning. Just by taking a few minutes to get back into nature and plant a garden, you could be amazed at everything you can accomplish. There are many examples that prove my point. One example being a study from Scotland that said people who participated in gardening were in better mental and physical health. While some people might argue that they don't have the time or the space, it is important to remember that gardens can come in all shapes and sizes. I myself have a fig tree that has been growing happily in a large flower pot for 3 years now, among an array of other potted plants. This is my fig tree. However, it is ultimately up to you to decide what types of plants you would like to have and how you would like to grow them. It is also important to note that in a study of post-operative patients that were exposed to 8 different species of plants, pain, anxiety, and the length of stay were reduced, and overall the patient's satisfaction was improved. Should you decide to plant a garden, you could not only increase your physical and mental well-being, but also Provide food for many people other than yourself. If you should decide to not plant a garden, the national rates of hunger could continue to climb, and many more people could struggle with not having enough food, not just for themselves, but for their children, parents, grandparents, or for the more than 45 million other people living off of SNAP, or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. To summarize, taking an afternoon to plant a garden can not only save you money in the long run, but it can also keep you physically fit and in a good headspace. I hope that everyone will take a moment to truly consider planting a garden, if not for you, then for your fellow Americans who cannot afford enough food to feed their families. To conclude, I have always loved being around plants, and I hope after listening to my speech, you will also love them and take the time to get to know them a little bit more. Thank you.